8th grade. Yesterday, you wrote the first section of the project, the background knowledge. Um, and what you did there is you essentially answered the question how a plane flies, and you used all of the information that you have learned thus far in this unit. So you should have included all three of Newton's laws of motion. You should have included the four forces of flight, Bernoulli's principle, as well as some vocabulary words from the crossword puzzle. Keep in mind when you did this first part that when a plane flies, it needs to take off, it gets to cruising speed, and then it lands. So it might be beneficial for you to talk about all three of those scenarios in order to add more detail to your paragraph. Remember that it needs to be in complete sentences, in a different color, and all in your own words. This section should have been maybe 10 sentences, maybe longer. Anything less though, and you probably didn't include all the necessary information. Okay? If you have questions about that, please let me know. Today we're going to move on to number 2 right here. Number 2 says brainstorm ideas that will make a good paper airplane. Record your thoughts in the brainstorm section. So I have some pretty specific ways that I'd like you to do this. Okay? There are 3 columns. Things you need to keep in mind with an airplane, the science behind it, and an idea for your airplane. Okay? So I have given you one example. An example is that a plane needs to move forward. So in order for a plane to fly, it needs to move forward. The science behind that is that thrust is the force that will propel the plane forward. In real airplanes, they have engines that generate thrust. Now this is the idea for your airplane. Obviously, we're not going to attach an airplane or an engine to your paper airplane, but here are some ideas that you could use. You could use a rubber band to launch it, or you could practice throwing it to ensure that you have the correct amount of force. Okay? There are 4 places here for you to add your own ideas. So when you are brainstorming things, these things to keep in mind can be parts of the airplane that you need. It could be materials that you're going to use. It could be the size of the airplane. But whatever you are going to talk about in this section, you need to have some scientific evidence of why you need to keep that in mind. And then an idea for what you want to do for your paper airplane. Okay? So again, these are things that you need to keep in mind with airplanes just in general, the science behind it, and then this is what you are going to do for your paper airplane. Okay? This is the only section that I'm going to have you work on today because it might take a while for you to brainstorm these different ideas. This part, just like the background knowledge, you are doing by yourself. Once we get more into the design and the testing, that's when you'll utilize your group members. So for today, you are doing the brainstorm ideas section. When you are done with that, just like with the background knowledge, I want you to turn in just this part. You can throw it on another Google Doc. You can submit the whole document, or you can just leave it in the comments, whatever you want to do. Just want to make sure that you are staying up with this. So when it gets time next week to turn this in, you're not super far behind. So let me know if you have questions on this, and I look forward to reading your ideas.